Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. Hello, Assalamu alaikum, good morning, Khush Amdeed. Welcome to this morning, which is a Hashmi, ladies and gentlemen, on yet another beautiful and blessed morning. I say blessed because I am blessed to wake up today. And again, I am even more blessed to have been fasting today. Ramzan Mubarak to everyone out there, and for whoever who's fasting today. I really hope it gets manageable for you because I do understand it's so hot out there. And I really hope all of us get the promised rewards as well. Well, I have a very small story to share with all of you. So this was yesterday. I was invited to an iftar party. It's sort of, when everyone gets together to break their fasts together at the time of iftari. So, well, it was sort of a lavish affair. So there was a room like full of fancy things for iftar party for everyone who was invited. But the good thing was there was yet another room for the people, like drivers and helps or maids or nannies or any sort of, people who accompanied the actually invited people. So I was super, super happy to actually look at that as well because we're sort of treating everyone equally. But ladies and gentlemen, that is like the minimum requirement, right? It's not the good thing to do and it's not the best thing to do. It's just the right thing to do. Everyone is at least expected to do so. Anyway, without further ado, I shall be introducing my guest to you, who happens to be an Islamic scholar. Well, he's been on the show before, but not with me. I'm absolutely excited to start my conversation with him. And I will request him to actually take us back to some historical journey, especially in light of Ramzan. So probably, we all have heard about the legend of the fall, right? That is sort of from where our religion starts, about history as well. So without further ado, on my right-hand side, we've been joined by someone, again, who happens to be an Islamic teacher, and he is, again, a psychiatrist, too. I absolutely love this combination. Let's see how it works out for him. He's none other than Dr. Yousaf Raza. Hello, assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Pleasure to be here.
I know. It's absolutely my pleasure to have you. So, Dr. Yousaf, before we begin with the story of Legend of the Fall, how's your Ramzan going?
It's good, pretty good.
Yeah? What have been your engagements?
I have a program at night.
Okay.
I have to translate and explain whatever is going to be recited in Taraweeh.
Oh, okay,
so we
nice.
have a nice, decent audience.
And how good is that? Because, especially when we're offering our prayers, namaz, and even Taraweeh, so we do have like a lot of surahs that we recite from the Quran. But a lot of people that I even know personally, they learn Arabic, they read Arabic, but the meaning of it in our personal language, we don't understand. So you're doing an amazing job.
Yeah, so we've had pretty good feedback. The people who are participating, the experience is altogether at another level when you're engaged, when you're involved. So it's pretty gratifying.
Wow, that's beautiful. So, okay, what do you have for us today? I insist, please, like enlighten me and everyone out there about the legend of the fall. And since you happen to be a psychiatrist or a psychologist?
Psychiatrist.
Psychiatrist, perfect.
Yes.
So why shouldn't we relate it with the psychological implications of it, right?
Right.
Okay.
So what we have in the Quranic narrative of the legend of the fall, obviously the Quran is not the only text that talks about it. We have a biblical narrative as well, and there are other traditions who talk about very similar legends related to the creation, the beginning of creation, the beginning of humanity. The particular emphasis within the Quranic narrative, interestingly enough, is not historical.
Okay.
It is more pragmatic. It is more lesson-oriented. It is more what we can understand about ourselves as human beings and take practical wisdom from there. So it sort of disconnects it from its historical setting per se and makes it more relevant to our day-to-day dealings and our understanding of ourselves and the answer to that question of who am I and who we are as human beings. So
can't wait to get started.
Yeah, so the first mention of it, the Quran mentions this in 7 different places.
Okay.
The first of them is Surah Baqarah itself, the second surah. And it starts with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talking to the angels. So the way it's depicted is the announcement of the beginning of human creation is being given to the angels themselves. وَإِذْ قَالَ رَبُّكَ لِلْمَلَائِكَةِ إِنِّي جَاعِلٌ فِي الْأَرْضِ خَلِيفَةً. So the ayah says that when your Rabb, the Messenger ﷺ is being addressed, that Ya Rasulullah, when your Rabb was, when he said to the angels that I am going to establish a Khalifa on earth, on planet Earth. So قالوا أتجعل فيها من يفسد فيها ويسفك الدماء. The first thing the angels, and this is kind of counterintuitive, what we expect the angels to do is
just
comply.
listen to,
yeah,
right.
but they question.
Okay.
And it is because the event is significant enough for them to question about it. Because what they understand, and now what we understand by the word Khalifa, Khalifa, take it to mean a vicegerent, a representative.
Okay.
Like when we pre-partition, when we were under British rule, the Queen is ruling over the Indian subcontinent, but she has a viceroy, a vicegerent, a representative of the Queen who in her absence is managing the affairs here.
Perfect, makes perfect sense.
So for the human being to be nominated Khalifa, it is the Khalifa or the representative of God on earth.
Wow, and that had never happened before.
Yeah,
right.
So for that to take place, it entails that human beings will have freedom of choice, freedom of will. So the number one lesson that this gives us, that we as human beings have free will.
Right.
We as human beings have freedom to choose our responses to different environmental stimuli, to whatever conditions we're put in, whatever situations of our upbringing. And necessarily as mental health specialists, we understand that there are predilections towards mental illnesses, towards certain behaviors that we develop because of our inherited genes, because of the environment that we grow up in, particularly what our parents subject us to, what we experienced growing up in form of emotional, physical, or sexual abuse, and that impacts the way our personality develops.
Absolutely.
Right? So that would naturally impact the way we behave in society. But what we get from over here is that, yes, we are all of that, i.e. we are a product of our environment. We are influenced significantly by our genome and our environment, but that's not the end of the story. There is so much more to being human than just that. And this is where freedom comes in. This is where agency comes in. This is where therapy can actually be therapeutic, because now what you're engaging with as a person, he's not just a patient or she's not just a patient, it's a person with freedom to change who they are, who they have been, obviously gradually, obviously through a process, but nevertheless have the capacity to do so. And interestingly enough, it is in Ramadan, it is in the process of fasting that we capitalize on and we reinforce this capacity of making choices, of this freedom. Because the very basic instincts of being human have to do with food, water, and sexuality. And if we can abstain from these for a stipulated period of time, then what is it that we cannot resist? What influence can we not go against? So we have this tendency. We say this a lot, that I don't feel motivated enough to do this.
Yeah, every other day almost.
Yeah, so we say this about ourselves, we say this about whatever we can't do. Like in Urdu we say, mera dil nahi kar raha. Maine kyun nahi kiya, mera dil nahi kar raha. I don't feel like it. I didn't feel like it. What we're getting over here is whether you feel like it or not, feeling being very important, yes. Motivation being very important, yes. But not the end of the story. For example, there is a pedophile who feels like doing a whole lot of, what he shouldn't be doing. And so, should he just do it because he feels like doing it?
Questionable.
So, opposed to that, I didn't do it because I didn't feel like doing it. Again, as human beings, we're not enslaved to our feelings or emotions. They're an incredibly important part of who we are and how we look at the world. But they're not the end of the story.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, I really do want you to carry on, because your storytelling is, by the way, just beautiful. I mean, when you're saying that we do have sort of the ability and the capacity to make our own decisions and then say, I don't feel like, or I do feel like doing it. But in the setup that we are in the society, the communal system, we're not the only ones. I mean, you can't just say, I don't feel like doing it and then be done with it, because you are sort of, directly and indirectly answerable to the people around you. Isn't that true?
Yeah, definitely. So you have the influence of emotions. You have the influence of your thoughts, and then you have the influence of the environment. Right? what this story is telling us, or just the designation of Khalifa is telling
Yeah.
us, that all of them are precisely that, influences,
Okay.
not causes of our behavior.
Oh,
That
right.
our
Makes
behavior,
sense.
at the end of the day, the words that come out of my mouth, the actions that I choose to do,
You choose them.
that are choices that I have made. I have
Right.
to accept responsibility. And it is the way we speak when referring to these incidents. I couldn't control myself. I was overtaken by something.
Yeah.
Right? So we shift responsibility.
Right. I
In
mean, we
doing so.
love blame games, right?
And so and we play the victim roles, we play, we try to escape from future responsibility as well. And now that we've gotten into it, freedom necessarily entails responsibility. Right? If you
Okay,
have
okay.
freedom, then the necessary corollary of that is responsibility.
Right,
And so
right,
as
makes
human
sense.
beings, we are responsible for the choices that we make precisely because we have the freedom
Right.
to make those choices.
Absolutely. Makes a perfect sense.
Right. So when now this has been announced, the angels are like, all right, wait, we have issues here.
Okay.
And what are the main issues? If he's having freedom, that means he's going to screw it up big time.
Yeah. And then he's superior than us as well.
Yeah, so that would come
Later on.
later
Okay,
on.
okay.
That would come later
I'll
on.
hold the
That's
thought.
implicit.
Okay,
And
okay.
they're not audacious enough to say it. That he's been given superiority over us. We
Right.
wanted that place. They don't say that
Okay, okay.
explicitly, but it is as Allah responds to them. He says, "That's what you had in mind. That's what you weren't making explicit. I know what you implicitly held."
Wow.
Anyway, so قالوا وتجعل فيها من يفسد فيها ويسفك الدماء. They said, "Are you going to place on earth one who is going to create chaos, wreak havoc, cause corruption, ويسفك الدماء, and shed blood? Are you going to just let this creature loose with all this freedom
Right.
to wreak havoc on this amazing creation of yours, this planet Earth? Are you, have you thought this through, God? So almost questioning, almost challenging, just, we know our place, but
Right.
we need to know this. So we understand, especially in the 20th, 21st century, and this has been a problem, philosophical problem for as long as there has been philosophy, the problem of evil, right? So there is evil in the world. And before any philosopher, any existentialist, any system of thought that was put forward,
Yeah.
Religious or irreligious, this question was brought up by none other than the angels themselves.
Angels themselves,
Yes,
right.
they have this issue. They have this beef. They're like, come on. وَنَحْنُ نُسَبِّحُ بِحَمْدِكَ وَنُقَدِّسُ لَكَ. We're the one who do your tasbih, exalt you, we praise you, we exalt your purity. قَالَ إِنِّي أَعْلَمُ مَا لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. Allah said, I know what you do not know. I know what you do not know, that this intent for which this earth is put forward and the responsibility and freedom that human being is being given and the
Right.
process that he's supposed to fulfill,
Yeah.
the purpose that he's supposed to fulfill, these are necessary prices to pay.
Okay.
And
wow.
and something of that is implied within the beginning of the ayah itself, when it says وَإِذْ قَالَ رَبُّكَ,
Okay.
when the messenger is addressed, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that looking at all the evil in the world as we do, looking at all the children dying, people suffering,
Right.
exploitation, and you name it, human beings are capable of more evil than any other creature.
Absolutely.
Period.
Absolutely so. I do agree with that.
Animals will, as beastly as they may be, as carnivorous as they may be, they hunt to eat.
To
And
survive.
to survive.
Yeah.
And if that need is fulfilled,
They wouldn't do it.
They
Absolutely.
wouldn't
We've even seen, documentaries on Nat Geo,
Yeah.
right, where let's say the lion or the lioness are absolutely full of,
Yeah.
top, and then you can just walk around them. They wouldn't hurt you.
there you go.
Unlike
So,
humans.
but human beings, we've invented torture devices that we can't even talk about on a morning show.
I like
That
it.
would-
Yeah, I understand.
So we that's what we've been capable of. And even at a lesser level, we don't want to talk about the utter evil that Hitler perpetrated.
Right.
What other like dictators across history have done. Day to day, we're capable of evil.
Absolutely.
The way we interact with each other, the way we bully each other, the way we mock, like just in a college, university, 6 people on one side, one particular person with some sort of handicap or deficiency on
Right.
the other, and now they're being subject to ridicule.
Right.
And I've actually dealt with cases like these that ended up developing psychosis, that ended up
Oh.
developing schizophrenia as a
Wow.
consequence of adolescent bullying.
That's too much, though.
Right, so
But
that's
yeah.
what we're capable of.
I mean, that's sad as well. But okay, Dr. Yousaf, so, I mean, the angels are not really happy with the decision, but indeed Allah knows better than all
Yeah.
of us, right?
And
So
that's-
what's his plan?
So what we see in the very beginning when he says Rabbuka, and whenever the Quran addresses in the singular, it's addressing Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It's
Yes.
addressing the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Prophet himself, his personality, his seerah, his life, and how that impacted the world for the better is evidence as to how all of it was worth it.
Absolutely.
That
And
what
how
he
we can
achieved.
actually make the right choices as well, right?
Right,
When
so-
we do have the capacity.
Yeah, so him and all the other prophets and all the other people who follow in their footsteps, the good that they do, understandably, this good would have been impossible
Okay.
if there was no evil. Right? This good is good.
Because there's bad to compare it
Yeah,
with.
it is
Right.
relative. We wouldn't know day if there was no night.
Right,
We
right.
wouldn't know dark if
There
there
was
was
no
no
light.
light.
Absolutely.
Right? So
Beautiful.
we have this, and in the personalities of the Sahaba, of the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, of all the prophets,
Yeah.
and all the good people that followed afterwards.
Right,
We
okay.
look up to these people. They're role models for humanity. They set examples and they give you that, you know what, it's worth it.
Absolutely.
Life is meaningful, right? So just very briefly on
Yes.
that. And that's where the discussion begins. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَعَلَّمَ آدَمَ الْأَسْمَاءَ كُلَّهَا. Then Allah taught Adam names of things,
Okay.
of all things.
Right.
ثم عرضهم على الملائكة فقال أنبئوني بأسماء هؤلاء إن كنتم صادقين. Then he brought those things in front of the angels, and he
Right.
says, name them if you are truthful. Truthful in what? Truthful in the claim that you made.
Okay. Okay.
Truthful, because they said, he's going to do this, we do your, we exalt your praise, we do your tasbih.
Worship you all day.
Yeah, we're as good as it gets, right?
Right.
Allah says, no. What I have planned, and this goes for a particularly restricted conception of religiosity that we have as well,
Okay.
which places worship, physical acts of ritual worship as the highest pinnacle of human achievement. That doing tasbih, doing dhikr, prayer is as good as it gets, and there's absolutely nothing better. Clearly over here, the angel, that's an angelic conception.
Right.
But
right.
Allah is saying that Adamic conception or human beings have to do that, yes, but more than that. It has to be something much greater than that. There are narrations that we find that there was a community of people that were engaged in incredible evil, and Allah decided to destroy them.
Right, and Dr. Yousaf, you know what? This is one of the things that I'm getting away from your the story that you're narrating right now. Again, this is probably not right, but this also sort of, you know, addresses the concept that we have of the holier than thou. That, you know, we're often very excited, and let's say we indulge in, you know, sort of taking pride in being that, and Allah stops you from doing that. Right? He
Yeah.
says there's no difference but taqwa. So I feel like we can take some lessons from that as well, right? You
Definitely.
cannot
So
compare.
if you set a very rigid standard of religiosity, and then you hold people to account for that,
Okay.
and you say that I conform to this pattern of religiosity in a particular way,
Yeah.
i.e. my way, my sect's way, etc., etc.,
Right.
and you don't. Therefore,
I'm better than you.
I'm better than you. And therefore, all kinds of condescension is justified. All kinds of exploitation is, we're back where we started, people. The same evil that this religiosity was supposed to dissipate, the equality that it was supposed to engender, you've thrown it out the window, right? So those particular people being destroyed, the angel said to God, but there's that one person
Yeah.
who's incredibly righteous. He's always worshiping you and he's never disobeyed you. Allah says, first him, then the others. Because if his religiosity, if his engagement in religious worship
Yeah.
makes him develop apathy,
Okay.
that it doesn't hurt him what people are going through, what others are doing, that there's
Right.
pain, evil, injustices, and he's just engaged in his own world. Where Allama Iqbal says, "Ye zikr neem shabi, ye muraqabe."
Right,
ये
carry
ज़िक्र
on.
नीम शबी, ये मुराकबे, ये सुरूर, तेरी खुदी के निगहबान नहीं तो कुछ भी नहीं.
Wow, beautiful,
So
beautiful.
if
Dr.
you're not,
Yousaf.
if all of this worship is not developing your khudi, and what is your khudi
Yeah.
supposed to do? Haram ke dard ka darma nahi to kuch bhi nahi. If you're not feeling the pain of the people of the world
Right.
and not doing
Compassion
something about
and
it,
empathy.
if we don't have that, forget it. It's
Wow,
not gonna
Dr.
work.
Yousaf, this was absolutely beautiful. I do understand that we have a lot more to talk about. So, inshallah, we will have you tomorrow again for the show because I love learning from you, and I understand that all of you do love learning from him as well. Right now, we're heading out to a very short break, but when we come back, we will have a very interesting discussion. I'm so sorry I'm stuttering, but ladies and gentlemen, I'm fasting as well, like you are. Stay tuned. Good morning. Welcome back to World This Morning, which is our Hashmi, ladies and gentlemen. I really hope you had a great first segment because I know I did. I learned a lot. But right now, we're moving on to something, well, very integral to Pakistan because 64% of the population happens to be youth from 15 to 30 years of age. And when we look at that, that is basically the future of Pakistan. So we expect the youth to be responsible in individual terms and on societal level as well. Because if we're looking at the future of Pakistan, I mean, don't we want Pakistan to be bright and like even at a global level of, some amazing countries like, I won't say US, well, but again, it is a superpower. So why not, goal or aim to attain that level? Well, today I have one of the responsible youth from Pakistan. She's amazing. She's in her mid-teens. She's a public speaker, a blogger, as well as a writer. There's just so much to her name. She's none other than Alina Rafaqat. Hello, assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the show, Alina.
Thanks for having me.
It's absolutely my pleasure. Next to Alina, we have someone because it is Ramzan and we absolutely love to, even other than Ramzan, we just love having people reciting naats around us. And for that purpose, we have been joined by someone who's been on the show before as well. He's none other than Mr. Azim Chishti. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the show. So how's your Ramzan going? Let's start with you. How's your Ramzan going? अच्छा जा रहा है आपका रमज़ान क्योंकि गर्मियाँ हैं लेकिन अदरवाइज भी मेरा ख्याल थोड़ा मुश्किल हो जाता है मैनेज करना लेकिन ठीक जा रहा है जी अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह चलें that's great. Alina, how's your Ramzan going?
It's absolutely going great.
Really? Same
Yeah.
here. Okay, so you are, I'm not going to mention your age, but she is in her mid-teens, ladies and gentlemen. She just got into her A-levels, right?
Yeah, I've just given my O-levels exam, so I'll just be in A-levels next year.
Wow. Okay, so let's start with your TED Talk. This was just recently that you happened to deliver a TED Talk about what? Tell everyone about it, where you did it. What was the response of the people?
So actually, I became the youngest TEDx speaker. I delivered my TED Talk on 7th March at Air University.
Youngest TEDx speaker.
Yeah,
Congratulations on that.
Thank you. And basically, I highlighted the youth potential.
Perfect.
Our youth has got so much potential,
I
but they
agree.
don't recognize that, and we're not even given an opportunity to enhance our potential.
Okay.
So my topic covered how mentoring youth can enhance their inner potential. So how can we provide them with great mentors? How can we train our youth to achieve high level of success in their lives if they are provided guidance by providing them with mentors? So I highlighted that how can mentoring youth enhance their inner potential,
Perfect.
and how can they become, like, how can they serve in different fields, like how can they even serve as young leaders, creator, innovators, and
Right.
entrepreneurs.
That is absolutely beautiful, Alina. But you know, who has been your inspiration? I mean, to look at you at such a young age, you're carrying so much things with you. I mean, you're a blogger, writer, then again a speaker as well. You are basically inspiring people through your speeches and on your social media too. Who inspires you to do all of this?
So I was doing my O-levels, not knowing what I was gonna do next. So it actually became one of like that I wasn't passionate about what I was doing, and I wasn't enjoying what I was doing.
Okay.
And so I was like, no, that's not the life I want to live. I have a creative mind, so why not to go and have something like productive or where I can to do things I'm passionate about.
Right. And you know,
So-
isn't it great to realize your potential at an early age? So you can
Definitely.
explore it even more?
Yeah.
Right.
So I had no inspiration. I became my own inspiration. So I am
Wow.
my own role model.
I love it.
So yeah, I became my own inspiration. So
That
at
is so
moment.
beautiful, and you know, you are an inspiration for a lot of people out there. So let's talk about your blog. It's like a proper website. You almost update it every day. There are a lot of people following it. What do you write about?
Actually, I have a personal blog. I post articles there. I have my own written articles.
Okay.
And I just hit like I just cover the topics, motivational topics and inspirational. So I have like a whole bunch of series of articles there.
So, Alina, here's the thing. So, when you have such a huge following on your social media, on your blog especially, and then you're a speaker as well, you know, hundreds and thousands of people are coming to listen to you, watch your work. There is certainly an added responsibility to put out the right things. How do you do that? Do you consult your siblings for it, or your parents, or do you do it on your own?
Basically, when I became the youngest TEDx speaker and became a blogger, I have a contact with a lot of people,
Okay.
great entrepreneurs, writers,
Wow.
and bloggers. So I always have a theme that I post on social media, because
Okay.
I know I'm an influencer, so I don't post things that will affect others.
Right, in a
So-
wrong way.
Yeah, definitely. So I just try to have a great or nice impact on others. So like no one gets affected because of me.
Okay, okay, that's great. Because, of course, you do realize that it's a responsibility.
It's a huge
right?
responsibility because people use social media so much that today, so that's why I
Okay, so very quickly, Alina, what are your plans for the next 5 to 10 years?
I'll definitely pursue my career as an entrepreneur. I have a business mindset, so I'll pursue my career as an entrepreneur, and side by side I'll be public speaking.
Wow,
and I'll
inshallah.
be a motivation speaker.
Good luck for that. It was so
Thank
amazing to
you.
be in conversation with you. Ladies and gentlemen, we will be heading out with the Naat by Azim Chishti Saab. Before that, I'll just give you the links. You have to write us on our Facebook page, on Twitter, and Daily Motion on YouTube, all with the name of World This Morning. And you can catch the repeat at 11 p.m. tonight. Heading over to Azim Chishti Saab, please go ahead.
तजल्लियात का गुलजार मस्जिद नबवी जमालियात का शाहकार मस्जिद नबवी जहाँ पुकार गुनाहगार की सुनी जाए जहाँ पुकार गुनाहगार की सुनी जाए। मेरे हुजूर का दरबार मस्जिद